Welcome to NVL Travel Documentary. Where the lights never dim and the shadows never sleep. On the surface, it's a playground of dreams, billion-dollar casinos, champagne nights, and the promise of fortune with every spin. But just beneath that glow, a world few dare to see. This isn't just a travel documentary, this is a reckoning. A side of the city that won't show up on your Instagram feed, but should. Real facts about countries often lie in the silence, the tunnels, the lives forgotten. Because while millions pour into the Strip each year, chasing luck and luxury, thousands vanish into the dark. And the real crime? It's not what happens in the alleyways. It's what's allowed to happen in plain sight. You're watching NVL Travel Documentary, and this is Las Vegas like you've never seen it before. 1. Life beneath the lights. It's Las Vegas, the city of lights, jackpots, and billion-dollar dreams. On the surface, it's a non-stop show. In 2024 alone, casinos raked in over $6 billion in profit. But take one step off the Strip, and the truth cuts like glass. Every single night, nearly 8,000 people sleep on the streets or deep inside storm tunnels beneath the city. That's not just a statistic, that's more than the entire population of a small town. In 2023, over 200 lives were lost out there. No headlines, no obituaries, just silence. Those tunnels, they stretch across nearly 600 miles, dark, damp, and deadly. They weren't built for people, they're flood channels, and yet hundreds live in them. When a flash flood hits, there's no warning. Last summer, 5 people drowned in less than 5 minutes. Their only crime, having nowhere else to go. Up on the surface, downtown Vegas tells the same story in daylight. Makeshift tents made of ripped tarps line the sidewalks. Families huddled together against desert extremes, blistering 110-degree days followed by bone-chilly 30-degree nights. It's survival of the forgotten. And with just 2,000 shelter beds in all of Clark County, most never get a chance. They wait in line, they get turned away, they sleep under overpasses. Meanwhile, the city spends over $100 million a year marketing its glitzy image to tourists. Polished drone shots, influencer campaigns, flashy commercials. But when it comes to helping the people behind the glitter, crickets. This isn't a rare moment. It's a systemic failure. According to a January 2025 report from the Nevada Homeless Alliance, the city's homeless population rose by over 55% since 2021. Outpacing national growth by a wide margin. And here's the thing, most of these people, they're not drifters. Over 70% are longtime locals. These are people who grew up in Vegas, worked in Vegas, and now sleep on its streets. The city that promises dreams is delivering nightmares. While slot machines sing and the Bellagio fountains dance, 8,000 human beings disappear in the shadows, and we barely notice. If this doesn't shake you, ask yourself, how can a city drowning in wealth let so many drown in despair? Working, but homeless. Let's be clear, this crisis didn't appear out of thin air. It's been brewing for years, baked right into Las Vegas's economy, and now it's exploding. As of early 2025, Las Vegas is short over 85,000 affordable housing units. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. The city keeps pouring billions into new luxury hotels, but barely invests in housing for the very workers who keep those hotels running. Just last year alone, over $2 billion were spent on new casino developments. Meanwhile, affordable housing, barely a fraction of that. Rent prices have soared. A simple one-bedroom now averages $1,500 a month, nearly double the national average. But the median wage for service workers here? Still stuck around $12 to $13 an hour. Do the math. Working full-time at that rate won't even cover rent, let alone food or gas. I met a bartender 60 hours a week behind the bar, still sleeping in her car. She told me, "My tips pay for gas. Everything else, I just go without." That's not just unfair, that's unsustainable. And it gets worse. Grocery costs in Clark County are up 28% in just 3 years. Gas hovers around $5.10 a gallon, yet wages have barely budged. The result? Tens of thousands of people working full-time jobs are still falling into homelessness. In 2020, pandemic relief kept over 160,000 Nevadans from losing their homes. But when that aid dried up in 2021, the safety net vanished. Evictions surged 45% the following year. That's 12,000 families forced out, kids, elders, everyone, all within months. One dad I met told me he skips 2 meals a day so his daughter can eat. His casino paycheck just doesn't stretch far enough. Imagine that, working inside a billion-dollar resort, then going home to a tent. This isn't about laziness. This is about a system that favors luxury over life. Developers chase profit from $600 a night suites, while the people who mop the floors, serve the food, clean the rooms, they're priced out of the city they helped build. And the question is, how much longer can this go on before the city breaks? Punished for being poor. You'd expect a city with billion-dollar casinos and a glowing skyline to have a little room for compassion. But in Las Vegas, policies seem to punish the poor more than help them. And politics? Well, politics has fingerprints all over it. Back in 2017, federal housing support took a major hit. Almost $9 billion were slashed from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, enough to build 50,000 homes across the country. Instead, in Vegas, more tents popped up, and those without a roof, they started getting fines. In 2019, the city passed a law making it illegal to sleep in public spaces, even when shelters are full. Imagine this. You just worked an overnight shift at a gas station. Your back hurts, you sit on a park bench, and boom, $400 ticket. For resting. The logic? If we make homelessness illegal, maybe it'll just go away, like magic. But of course, that's not how this works. During the same period, tax cuts funneled nearly $2 trillion to the wealthiest brackets. Casino profits jumped 25%, hitting $8.5 billion. Meanwhile, rent shot up 35%. For many, wages didn't move at all. One mom I met had her rent raised mid-lease. She lost her apartment. Her kids now stay with a friend, and their toys are in boxes. Another guy sleeps in a tunnel with his son. His wife was deported, and now their only possessions fit in one backpack. It's a strange twist in a city that thrives on global charm, yet turns its back on its own. Local leaders begged for help. Nevada requested $600 million in housing aid to support 16,000 families. The response? Rejected. Flat out. No room in the budget, they said, though there always seems to be room for a new casino floor. You start to wonder, maybe the system isn't broken, maybe this is exactly how it's designed to work, just not for the folks sleeping outside. And while the Strip keeps glowing, these policies quietly push more people into the shadows, a city built on dreams, slowly forgetting its own people. Foam slips by design. If you thought homelessness in Las Vegas was just about bad luck or rising rent, let's take a closer look, because beneath the surface there's a pattern. and it has everything to do with race. Black residents make up just over 13% of Nevada's population, yet they represent 40% of the homeless community in Clark County. That's over 3,200 people, and it's not some weird coincidence. It's the result of decades of systemic disadvantage. Take housing, for example. Black renters in Las Vegas face a 72% rejection rate when applying for rentals, a legacy of redlining that still echoes from the 1950s. Then there's the wage gap. On average, black workers earn about $10 an hour, while white counterparts pull in nearly $13. Over time, that gap becomes a wall. I met a grandmother, proud and resilient, who cleaned casino floors for 30 years. Her hands showed it, cracked, calloused. But when her hours got cut, she couldn't make rent. Now she sleeps in a church basement. 30 years of labor, and still no room to rest. Latino communities face a different kind of uphill battle. Immigration policy in recent years didn't exactly roll out a welcome mat. Refugee slots were cut by over 80%, and more than 15,000 Latinos in Nevada were caught in deportation proceedings since 2017. I spoke to a father living in a tunnel with his young son. His wife was deported. Now they live with no papers, no rights, and barely enough food. His son's backpack carries more than just school supplies. It carries everything they own. Meanwhile, the city spends around $2.5 billion each year on gleaming hotel towers. Yet in Black and Latino neighborhoods, streets are cracked, schools are underfunded, and sidewalks crumble. It's hard not to notice where the priorities lie. And perhaps the saddest part, in a recent survey, over 35% of residents believed outsiders, not inequality, were the cause of the crisis. It's easier, after all, to blame someone than to fix the system. So here we are, a city built by workers of every background, now divided by lines that were drawn long ago and never erased. And those left out? They're not just struggling, they're invisible. When faith falls silent. Faith, it's supposed to be the last light when everything else goes dark. In Las Vegas, some of that light still flickers. I've seen volunteers ladle soup under freeway bridges, hand out blankets in the biting cold, whisper a prayer before moving on to the next shivering soul. Groups like the Salvation Army and Catholic Charities serve over 1.4 million meals a year. It's honest work, tireless, often thankless. But let's be honest, it's not enough. While a handful of small missions stretch every penny to house the vulnerable, many larger churches seem to stretch their lighting budgets more than their compassion. A 200-seat megachurch down the street has $1 million sound system and laser-lit Sunday services, but keeps its doors locked 6 nights a week. One pastor I met, who runs a 20-bed shelter in his basement, told me he turns away dozens every night, including pregnant women and seniors, while neighboring sanctuaries sit empty. A local survey from 2024 showed that over 60% of congregations in Clark County offer no housing aid at all. Zero. Nothing. Some cite safety concerns. Others simply say it's not their mission. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you hear sermons about love, dignity, and serving the least of these. From the sidewalk, those stained glass windows don't look so holy. They look like walls. And here's the twist. It's not just about theology. It's about perception. According to a Pew poll last year, 42% of conservative Protestants still believe homelessness is mostly caused by personal failure, laziness, addiction, bad choices. That narrative doesn't leave much room for nuance or mercy. So the result is patchwork help. Some get warm meals and prayer, others get turned away with a pamphlet. Faith in Vegas is often divided, not by denomination, but by whether it sees people in crisis as victims or burdens. And while that debate continues inside sanctuaries, outside, the city's health system buckles, crime rises, and the cost of looking away grows heavier every day. Because when faith wavers, the pressure shifts to society, and Las Vegas, as we'll see next, is already straining at the seams. Number 6. The system is cracking. When the system breaks at the bottom, it doesn't stay there. The pressure seeps upward, quietly, persistently, until everyone feels the strain. In Las Vegas, hospitals are stretched thin. Every year, they log over 65,000 emergency room visits from uninsured patients, most of them homeless. Not for rare diseases, but for things like heat stroke, frostbite, untreated infections, or mental health breakdowns. Things that could have been prevented if there had just been a place to sleep. One paramedic I met said she pulls people out of storm drains nearly every week. Her voice trembled when she mentioned a man who died with nothing but a soaked backpack and a rosary. They don't even have names half the time, she told me, just numbers on a form. The police feel it too. Last year alone, they responded to over 12,000 survival crime calls. Shoplifting for food, trespassing to find shelter, petty theft. These aren't career criminals. They're just hungry, tired, cold. And while this unfolds under the neon, the Strip keeps buzzing, pulling in over $38 billion in tourist money each year. Most visitors barely notice the tents lining the sidewalks downtown. Some step over them, others cross the street. But the truth is, Las Vegas markets itself as escape, while thousands are trapped in plain sight. I met a dishwasher, 50 hours a week, 2 jobs, still sleeping in his car. His kids stay with cousins, and he visits them every Sunday with a smile that hides everything. His boss makes $15 million a year. That's the math. And it's not just individuals cracking under pressure. The city itself is groaning. 3,000 eviction filings every month, foster care overloaded as families split, shelters turning away thousands nightly. The social fabric isn't just fraying, it's unraveling. So yes, the lights still shine, the fountains still dance. But behind that curated glow is a system quietly bleeding, economically, morally, structurally. And the question is starting to echo louder now. What if we did something different? Real solutions exist. It's tempting to think this is all too big, too far gone, but it's not. The truth is, solutions exist, not just theories, real, measurable steps. Start with housing. Las Vegas needs roughly 88,000 affordable units to meet demand. That sounds massive, until you realize the city has pulled in over $5 billion in casino tax revenue since 2015. Redirect just a fraction of that, and within a year, 25,000 homes could be built, enough to shelter over 60,000 people. Not temporary beds, real homes, with doors, with dignity. Cities like Salt Lake City cut homelessness nearly 50% by adopting the Housing First model. It's not magic, it's math. Stable housing reduces emergency room visits, cuts police calls, and helps people actually get back on their feet. Bricks beat Band-Aids. Every time. Next comes wages. At $12 an hour, even full-time workers can't keep up with a $1,500 rent. Raise that to $15, and 45,000 workers could cross the poverty line, still modest, but finally breathing room. Job training matters too. Over 2/3 of the unhoused in Las Vegas, that's more than 5,000 people, say they want work, not a handout, a skill. Programs in trades like HVAC, welding, or coding could turn lives around. And here's the kicker, just $40 million, less than 1% of annual casino profits, could fund full-scale workforce programs citywide. Then there's health. Around 33% of the unhoused struggle with mental health conditions, roughly 2,700 people needing regular support. Mobile clinics, therapy access, medication, all of it helps. Just $12 million from the tourism fund could sustain these services for a full year. And if every tourist, all 42 million of them, gave $1, that's another $42 million for shelters, meals, job programs, recovery care. It's pocket change for one, but a lifeline for many. What's missing isn't money, it's coordination and will. Faith groups, casinos, local businesses, visitors, residents. Everyone has a role. Because if Las Vegas was built on collective dreaming, maybe that's how it gets saved, by collective action. When a city forgets its most vulnerable, the damage doesn't stay in the shadows. It ripples into hospitals, classrooms, courtrooms, and hearts. And in the Las Vegas, those ripples are starting to flood. Every year, the city welcomes 42 million visitors, collects billions from the Strip, and glows brighter than ever. But just beyond the neon, thousands live without shelter. Service workers can't pay rent. Children sleep in tents. Lives are lost quietly, invisibly. We've seen how this crisis unfolded: a shortage of affordable housing, wages too low to survive, policies that criminalize poverty, and systems that leave thousands behind. But we've also seen that the answers are within reach: housing-first models, fair wages, skill building, mental health support, and a community that chooses compassion over neglect. The most important takeaway: this isn't a failure of resources, it's a failure of priorities. Las Vegas doesn't have to be a city of ghosts beneath the glow. It can be a place where prosperity lifts everyone, not just those at the top, but only if we're willing to see what's been hidden and act. At NVL Travel Documentary, we believe travel isn't just about the postcard view, it's about understanding the lives that unfold beyond the frame. If this story moved you, if it made you think differently about a city you thought you knew, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to explore more stories that dig beneath the surface, from deserts to megacities, from the glittering to the forgotten, consider subscribing. One voice won't change everything, but many just might. Thank you for watching. Until next time, travel deeply, travel consciously.